Today marks 1157 days sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about tools, positive tools. There's a lot of tools that we can use to achieve our goals, but today I want to focus on positive tools. Now, the biggest thing that about positive tools that we need to understand is that positive tools, negative tools, neutral tools could be used for good or could be used for bad. That means every single tool is most time is neutral or maybe a little bit leaning to positivity. But even though it's leaning to positivity, we're able to use that tool in a negative way. So they will share like multiple tools, like what we need to be understanding about that tool and what you're supposed to use that for. Because I think that nowadays we sometimes misplace and sometimes we put that positive tool and call it as a negative or something a negative tool, positive and positive. So today I will share what kind of tool and what you're supposed to expect of that tool and how to use that tool in a positive way. So number one is social media. I think that we have a bad rep for social media, and I think that is rightly so because 90% of people use social media from wrong reasons. So social media in general is to get social, to find a way to connect, to connect in ways that you're not able to connect in any other way, just social media. That's a great tool, but is not the core. It's not the foundation of connection. I think that that's where we start to put that social media as a core foundation of connection. That's where the negativity comes into place. So social media is a great tool when you use it in a positive way because you're able to network, you're able to learn from others, you're able to really see what other people do, you're able to share things. But when you really spend too much time, you start to compare yourself with others, you start to see the other people picture of their life, even though it's a picture of their life. Pictures are not reality. I think that's what the biggest key about social media, that we start to believe that that's exactly how things are supposed to look like, but that's not how it's supposed to look like a lot of times. That's a perfection of lives where there's no perfection. We sometimes think about person based on 0.01% of their life. So they put one picture a day that is beautiful, gorgeous, magnificent, and this is just a 1 second, 1 second of their day. But how about 23 hours, 59 minutes of his life? What do they do to that? And I think social media sometimes leads to mindless scrolling and not being able to really understand what truly matters because we're able to disconnect from ourselves in general. Number two, and again, this is part of the same thing, is smartphones. Smartphones is really to connect us with other people and being able to not miss that connection. But when you use smartphones for gaming, social media, they use for the things that is actually not helping us, that could lead to negative tools. So smartphones in general is a positive tool, but for some reason we learn how to use a positive tool in a negative way. Number three is gaming, and this gaming. I think there's a lot of scientists did a lot of research on gaming, and I think that there is truth that a lot of gaming is developing your mind, developing your ability to create, developing your ability to really multitask. Like there's a lot of things that is developing in our brain. And some people who game, they're able to have more longevity with their mind because they always are triggered and constantly work. But at the same time, gaming, of course, game does not equal game, but we need to understand that if you do gaming because you want to develop yourself, maybe improve yourself, maybe social with your friends, just for a couple of minutes, that's totally fine. But when I think that when people start to play not to develop themselves, but for the reason to run away from their lives, that's where positive tool could lead to be a negative tool. Number four is like money. Again, this is probably getting to the more serious things of money. A lot of times people say that money is evil of root of evil. Root of evil. That's I think that's what they're saying. And we need to understand that money is leaning to positive tool again. It's not neutral, it's a little leaning to positivity, not in negativity though. Because when you have the money, when you have the resources, you're able to do what you want. That means you're able to spend your video yourself, you're able to spend with your family, you're able to give an impact other people's lives because you have financial abundance. So money is an amazing tool that you can use for great things. But now, I think that's what is wrong is that we'll learn to use money in a negative way. We buy liabilities, we buy stuff that is hurting us, like alcohol, cigarettes, all those things that are potentially we could consume. So that means we use positive things like money into negative way. People do a lot of crazy things. They support causes that isn't hurting people. We're able to either support causes that are helping people, and we can support causes that is hurting people. Again, money is just a tool, a positive tool. But how you use it is totally different. Number 5 is television, YouTube, streaming. I think that, again, there's a misconception. I think that we're supposed to understand that YouTube's supposed to be all about developing, growing yourself, understanding more, gathering information. But I think that nowadays, a lot of times, what we use television, streaming, YouTube, it's not to develop ourselves, but really mind ourselves. Like, really forget about everything and run away from our life. So YouTube's supposed to be to build ourselves, to really for our life, but now we run away from life by watching YouTube. Now, one thing is that this big thing is that sometimes we watch YouTube like podcasts, personal development podcast, hour after hour after hour and an hour, and that theoretically is good. But that positive tool, YouTube, to watch positive materials, could become the thing that is holding you back, something that sabotages your success. Because when you watch YouTube, when you watch podcasts, when you watch something that is developing you, theoretically your mind, what you're not doing is you're not taking action. You're not taking action. That means that you're not moving forward. You're staying where you are. You're staying where you are being smarter. You're staying where you are being smarter. And that's what it is. Like, that means that you were broke, maybe not wise, and now you are wise, but you are broke as well. That's why so many people who are very smart, they are not making money because they just spend too much time on being smart rather than being wise and making money. And that's again where YouTube is. Number 6 is AI tools. So that is, now we understand that some people are afraid of AI tools, some people are excited about AI tools. Understanding that people who use AI tools for the benefit, for productivity, for automation, for processes, they will win. People who run away from AI tools, they lose, potentially. But at the same time, we need to understand that we're not supposed to over-rely on AI tools. If you start to over-rely on over tools, you forget that you are a creative human being. You're able to create. So rather than really create by yourself, you start always creating everything with AI tools. So that means that what happens with your creativity? There's a saying that what you don't use, you lose. Or what you don't use, you lose. So that means that if you don't use your creativity to create something, you lose that ability to create. So that means you're not supposed to rely just on AI alone. Number 7, I would love to mention one of my favorite things, and that is books. Books. Again, it depends on what kind of books you read, but in general, books are very, very beneficial. So it's very leaning to positive, especially if you're reading non-fiction books, it's very leaning to positivity. But it's very, very similar like YouTube. That means that you're able to use that book to develop yourself, to become wiser, become smarter, you become more knowledgeable. But if you use that just to gather information and not use information, it's almost then do nothing is better. Of course, but if you want to really make a significant leaps in 2025 and in 2026, 2027, and forward, we need to really use that information from the books and take action. And take action, execution is the key to success. So then books supposed to be not just make us knowledgeable, but become more wiser. Because I love that. Smart is knowing a lot of things. Wise is knowing how to use that information. So that means that it might be that someone has much more knowledge, much more smart, but because they are not able to use anything, they stay smart. But the person who have a little bit of smartness, a little bit of knowledge, could be wise right away, and he could use that a little bit of knowledge that he have and succeed immediately. That's why I said that wisdom is so much more important than being smart, because wisdom is understanding actually how you're able to execute and take actions to make and get results. Number eight is internet. Internet. And there's internet, there's a lot of things, like even YouTube, all the things. Internet is, in general, is a positive tool because it's democratized success a lot of times in a lot of ways. There are so many online business that doesn't require you have so much knowledge, so much resources that internet could be used in such a positive ways to make money, to learn, to educate, to connect. But I think when people start using internet to scroll and really not develop themselves and run away again from their life, I think that's where it becomes negative thing. So positive tool again, like internet, is when you use in the wrong way, you lose. I think that there's so many tools like this. Could be like just last few things that I mentioned, that it could be like music, photography. That means it might be that you really love listening music, and it maybe it makes you feel creative. Maybe you just listening music all day long. So that means that something that really elevates, brings positive emotions. It is a great to listen music. But if you listen music all day long, if you listen music while you're driving, if you listen music when you do whatever it takes, when you're going in the gym, it might be that you're wasting time if you're doing it every single time. Because I love what the call of the car. The car is university on wheels. University on wheels. So that means that when you're on the traffic, you're able to listen to learn about your skill set, like say sales. So that means that while you're driving on traffic for 1 hour every single day, so it means you can listen for 1 hour of training on your skill set. So it means after a year of traffic, you will be 300 hours, 65 hours more knowledgeable on your field. University on wheels. So it's rather than spending 365 hours a year on music, spend 365 hours a year on developing your skill set. How much more knowledge, how much more you will be better in your field when you spend 365 hours in that field. I think that it will be a lot, and I think that it will be happy. And I think that that's why sometimes by doing things that potentially is positive, if you're doing and overdoing, and we potentially don't change the things that is great for us, because music is good for us in general, unless you look into some kind of negative music that brings you bad emotion. But in general, music is a positive thing, great thing, good thing, good thing. But now, if you want something extraordinary good and beneficial and great, be able to, what is the most important thing that I could do now? What are the best thing I could do right now with this my time? And music, most time doesn't pop up as the most important thing to do to move the needle forward. Sometimes it's great because we need to rest, we need to recharge. That's important. That's where you use music to recharge yourself, because we need to recharge to achieve success. But when you're in 90% of the time, you say, okay, what is needed for me right now? And most time will be not music. So I hope you reflect as well. What kind of tools do you use? What kind of tools do you have? What kind of tools do you do not use to succeed? And when you reflect again and say that, okay, I have bad tools, neutral tools, positive tools. Do I actually use them in a positive way? So I hope you choose win, and see you tomorrow.